Hello everyone, and welcome to another Minecraft 3DS video. Today, I'm going to be attempting to survive in a cave for 25 in-game days. Yes, you heard me right, I am going to be doing a 100-day style of video, but in a cave. The goal of this challenge is to mainly see how hard it is to survive in a cave, rather than trying to speedrun the game to reach the Ender Dragon at the end. Due to me being in a cave, having the Ender Dragon as my end goal is basically impossible with the amount of time I'm giving myself for this challenge. So I'm going to be creating a few set challenges I will have to complete in 25 days instead. So here are those challenges. I'm going to have to create some sort of base, have a full set of diamond armor, travel to the nether, and find another fortress, complete 20 achievements, find one underground natural structure, and mine out a small chunk. I will not be digging to the surface for obvious reasons. Of course, I will be spawning on the surface, so the main goal is to just find a cave that I can actually use for this challenge within 5 minutes of starting a new world. Finally, I will be using a random seed, and I will be playing in normal difficulty. So, with all of that out of the way, let's get started. First off, I will not be sleeping at all in this challenge, so I can maximize the amount of time I have. After all, 25 in-game days is only about 7 hours if you do not sleep, because days are only 10 minutes long and nights are 7. Alright, at this point I have created my world and I spawned in. This was my 5th attempt at this point, so I was really hoping to find a close by cave, which I did. Now, because I had 5 minutes before I could not be out on the surface anymore, I took advantage by grabbing some trees so I can grow some underground, and I tried to grab some mobs as well for some food. Funny enough, I actually spawned in a deserted island in this seed, and it actually had a great cave system beneath it. Moving on, I entered the cave and I proceeded to do some digging in hopes to find even more. I decided to make my way down to Y12, and on the way down I collected several ores. Nothing special too far, but iron and coal will of course be very useful at first. I ended up getting very lucky at this point, as I found a pretty large cave with several areas to explore and many great areas to begin building my base. After some time, I actually ended up finding some diamonds already, which was incredible as I wasn't even 20 minutes into the challenge at this point. I kept making my way through this massive cave system, collecting ores and letting water flow all over the lava pools. My main goal in the first recording session was to just collect as many ores as I could, so I decided that I would begin strip mining, which proved to be very successful, as I found a good amount of ores here as well as some more diamonds. I was shocked at the amount of diamonds I was finding so early on at this point, and I really hoped this luck would continue throughout this challenge. Immediately on my second recording session, I found even more diamonds, and just a few minutes after that, I found even more. I was just in shock. I could not believe that in about 30 minutes, I almost had enough diamonds to craft a full set of diamond armor. Continuing on, I found a pretty good balance of every other ore, except for emeralds of course. Coal, iron, gold, a bit of lapis, and of course redstone. Finally, to top it all off, I found even more diamonds at the end of this recording session. This was just incredible. I have never had diamond luck this good in this version before, and that's saying a lot. I have gone through so many survival worlds with hours upon hours of mining, and nothing has ever come close to the amount of diamonds I just found in this short amount of time. In session 3, I began working on my underground base. I dug out a sizable area which will eventually house my chests for items, a furnace and crafting area, and a small farm for growing wheat. You might be wondering what I'm going to do about wood, and I will get to that later in this recording session. I did place down one sapling in my base area, but I eventually found a better place for them. At this point, I went to the nether, hoping I could get lucky with another fortress. And no nearby fortress from what I can tell. I didn't waste any more time here and I went back to my base to work on it. Here's what I ended up doing about the wood. I placed down 2 saplings here and hoped to God that they would actually grow before this challenge ended. I was already about 1.5 hours in, so I wasn't sure how long they would actually take. In session 4, I started placing decorative walls in my base, which are stone bricks. Of course, cooking stone for bricks takes forever, so I just went to nether again, hoping for the best. And I did end up finding a fortress right at the end of this recording session. So in session 5, I explored the nether fortress for the most part, stealing whatever loot and chests that I could find. I finally had some chests for storing stuff for my full inventory, and I got some overall decent enough loot. Just for the heck of it, I did grab some blaze rods, even though I will not need them at all in this challenge. The rest of this session was mainly just exploration and trying to get back to the nether portal. By session 6, I had a few furnishings in my base already. I did some work on my floor, which is going to be all obsidian. You might notice how my food bar is very, very low, and I am on half a heart now. Yes, I know this is super dangerous, but I had absolutely no food at all. My main goal at this point was to try and find brown and red mushrooms for mushroom stew, which is one of the few actual good food options I have, being in a cave. I did end up getting a lot of mushroom stew later on, so food was no longer a problem anymore. Later in this session, after a failed strip mining attempt, I finally got some wood from the saplings I placed earlier. This occurred way quicker than I thought, so I was very happy about this. I continued work on my base, adding some doors, more walls, and of course, the obsidian flooring. It's tedious work, but there was already so much obsidian beneath me from the lava pools there before, so I just decided to make everything on the floor obsidian for the most part. Session 7 was quite an interesting one. I looked away at my 3DS for a few seconds, and when I looked back, a tree grew. I went over and broke it, and placed new saplings in its place. I did some more mining in this session, hoping to get even more diamonds, and knowing my diamond luck so far, I ended up finding some. After this, I just went back to my base as I was doing a lot of mining, so I kinda wanted a break from it. You may have also noticed the wheat farm I built as well, which ended up being an absolute waste, as throughout this entire challenge, I only got a single piece of bread from it. Starting off in the next session, more trees grew, so I broke those and placed new ones. I then started mining out the chunk here, as this was one of the challenges I set myself up for in the beginning. I made pretty decent progress here as I was already close to finishing it. This will not be a full chunk, but rather a 16 by 16 area that will allow me to see how many ores I can find in an area like this. After all, the layers I'm digging out are where the most valuable ores will be found anyway. I then managed to completely finish the chunk. I actually managed to find quite a bit of ores in this, definitely more than I was expecting, and of course, you probably have guessed it already, I found diamonds. After this, I wanted to just get my base completely finished, so I started cooking some stone for my stone brick walls. In the next session, I got really close to finishing up all the stone brick walls and ceilings surrounding my base. At this point, I still have not found an underground natural structure, so I went strip mining again, hoping I would find one. And I eventually did. A dungeon hidden right here in this cave. So, this challenge was finally complete. In case you were wondering, the chest did not have anything impressive inside of it. Now, to finish off this challenge in its entirety, I put all the finishing touches on my base and completed the remaining achievements needed to reach 20 total. If you're wondering, I will put all the achievements I completed in this challenge in the description of this video. There was one more thing I decided to add to my base area before this challenge was truly over. A statue of the head of my skin. Yes, I know, it looks absolutely amazing. I'm sure this is the best thing I have ever built in the history of my channel, and if you are watching this far into the video, you are one of the lucky ones to witness me build it. And with that, the 25 days in a cave survival challenge is complete. This certainly wasn't a difficult challenge, but it was one that I wanted to try out to see just how interesting it would be trying to survive in a cave exclusively. So, with all that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.